Hello guys, I am back from another video. Today we're talking about Deku was a forgemaster. So, in the last video, Deku, after being told that he's gonna be having a rest day by Aya, he decides to go through the city, doing some stuff, even getting some booze, and maybe even running into, a certain boy. This boy being Todoroki in the sports festival, which Izuku attended so he can cause some chaos. So, after putting up some, night beast in some of the nearby, parts of like the arena, when it's finally the battle between Bakugo and, Todoroki, he pushed the button as these night beasts were coming out of them as they caused chaos through the, arena. So, after they were destroyed by the heroes and also Bakugo getting defeated by them, literally getting his brand new robotic legs ripped off and also his arm ripped off. Izuku left as he left to see, the chaos unfold in the news. So when he saw the news, it was just hilarious to him, just seeing Bakugo getting what he deserves. Multiple times, in fact. So, after that, he decides to get some sleep because he was quite tired, and so he goes to sleep. And so, let's talk about what happens next. So, after Izuku wakes up, he started going back to making some more night beasts. So, after making a lot of night beasts for this, client, which is, in, wait for a second. Yeah, because apparently that vampire was quite tired of a certain leader. I'm not gonna be saying any names, but let's just say the leader is pretty much asshole. Like, he's basically have, asshole energy. I'll give you a hint. He's a complete asshole to his people. And that vampire, being, unusual for regular vampires, he wants to help humanity. And so he decides to, cause a rebellion, let's just say that. So, after being told of this, he decides to make some special, and I mean special, wait for a second, special, night beast. These night beasts are basically immune to quirks, and so, after giving them to, to that vampire, he basically caused another rebellion in that place. So, after doing that, he decides to get some sleep again, but he was unfortunately interrupted by another person. This person was named, wait for a second. Let's just call him Jonathan. Jonathan the vampire. Jonathan says this, sir, the Mr. Izuku, sir, as he says this. What? I was trying to take a nap. As he says this. Well, Aya wants to talk to you, and it's very important, she said. As he says this. Fine. Just wait for a few seconds, okay? Well, you wanker. So, after he finishes up some things and also wearing his, uniform, being this, yeah, his usual, uniform, he basically comes out and sees Aya. Aya comes up to him and says this. So, Izuku, I want you to, cause some chaos in, you know, a certain place. As he says this. What certain place? As she says this. Well, I've heard that there's going to be this special group gonna be taking down some heroes, and I want you to cause some more chaos for them. Apparently they're named the League of Villains. As he says this. Wait, I know that name. As she says this. You should, because I remembered you in the USJ, just causing chaos there. As he says this. Oh, you saw the news? As. Wait for a second. You saw the news? As she says this. Yes. So, I want you to cause some chaos for them. As he says this. But I thought you hated humans, except for me, because I'm technically your most powerful spy. As she says this. Yeah, I hate humanity. And that is why I just want them to maybe have some hope until we crush them and we get to rule the world with our vampire brethren. Right, Izuku? As Izuku would say this. Very well. I'll do that for you, my lovely Aya. As he smiles, as Aya starts getting a bit, well, red, as she says this. Whatever. You can just hurry up and start going now. As he says this. As you wish. As he starts moving away. As for Aya, she kind of like sighs in relief as she says this. Why does Izuku have to be so hot? Wait for a second, guys. Sorry, guys, I was a bit tired at the time, so sorry if I sound like a bit tired, but before we actually continue the video, I want all of you guys to like pick names for these three mobs for the Minecraft What If. These mobs are going to be in, well, Izuku's little harem, remember? Anyway, these monsters or mobs are going to be a spider, a slime, and a ocelot slash like cat because apparently Minecraft decided like make cats their own separate you know their own separate like animal towards like ocelots. So um just pick just make a name for them for that what if please because I don't have any name ideas for them. So just make a name for them, please. Anyway, so let's continue with the video. Um, Wait for a second. So, after making a lot of powerful night beasts, including some with special guns that he created for using with these, you know, special bullets. These bullets are anti-quirk bullets. And so, after giving them these, well, giving those like specific night beasts these guns, well, it's finally time for the assault. So, it's basically like in the anime. The anime is basically like where like all of the Nomu start attacking in like I can't remember the city's name, but it's during the internship. So, when the Nomus from the League of Villains arrived, they see, well, these creatures coming out of these black portals. Unlike not Shigaraki, I meant Konigiri's portals, they're colored red as they see through the portals these night beasts. As these night beasts started killing off several of the heroes, these heroes when they got shot by these special bullets, they can't use their quirks, and so they get slaughtered by the Nomus. As Shigaraki sees Izuku, as he says this. So, you finally arrived. As he says this. As ever, you're quite interesting, Mr. Shigaraki. And so my master told me that I would gladly help you. After all, she's quite merciful. As he says this, being, well, Konigiri. So, by the way, what is your master anyway? As he says this, it's a secret. And if I were to tell you, then she would probably murder me. But I would rather not to because I'm quite loyal. And also, my creations are quite stronger than your Nomu things. As they say this, really, says Shigaraki as he says this. Yeah, I created these special bullets. This one. As he opens the case, showing off a quirk destroying bullet or quirk anti bullet. As he says this, being Shigaraki, what is that bullet supposed to do? As he says this, well, it's a quirk erasing bullet. Just one shot at this, and the person's quirk would be kaput. As, well, Shigaraki gets his eyes glowing, like he just like saw something in a video game that interested him. Like, interested, it gave him some interest in it, I meant. As he says this, a quirk erasing bullet, eh? Interesting. So how did you make it? As he says this, secret. As one of them being, well, wait for a second. Konigiri says this. I should tell it to my boss. As he says this. Your boss? I'm guessing it's a guy by the name of something, all for something or whatever. As one of them, being Shigaraki, just says this. It's all for one, you idiot. As he says this. Oh yeah, all for one. My boss told me about him. Apparently he has a quirk that allows him to just erase quirks or something. Not erase quirks, more like stolen quirks or something. As he says this, being Shigaraki. So, your boss knows about our own boss. What is she? As he says this, being Izuku. I don't know. I'm guessing that they're old friends or something. Apparently, my boss also seems to be quite fond of him. Don't know why. As Shigaraki says this. Anyway, so, what about the other heroes? As he says this, being Izuku. Don't worry, I can handle them. As he grabs his katana and grabs his gigantic broadsword and says this. After all, quirk users are nothing more than target practice for me. As heroes arrive, as these heroes start getting slashed and torn apart by Izuku, as he starts stabbing some of them, turning them into night beasts and causing them to attack their own allies, ripping them apart, friends fighting friends, brothers fighting brothers, I guess, sisters fighting sisters or something. Yeah, it's basically like that. As after he does that, he sees all of the carnage that he's causing. As he starts laughing and laughing, saying, "This is what they get for daring to try and challenge me. This is what they get for ruining my life." So, after doing that whole thing, well, Shigaraki would say this. What is wrong with this kid? As one of them being, well, wait for a second, being Konagiri says this. I don't know, but he seems a bit, well, terrifying, to say the least. As he looks over and sees one hero left. This hero was terrified seeing all of the carnage that Izuku made. As he says this, being Izuku. So, any last words, kid? As he says this. Go to hell! As he says this. Oh, you're certainly going to go to hell. Where you belong. As he stabs him right in the face with his katana, turning him into a monster, a night beast. As the night beast form that he takes resembles a dragon with a wolf's head, and instead of like regular old like dragon wings, it had wings of a bird or something. As he says this, now let us show these pathetic heroes what we're made of. So, they started flying off as this dragon starts burning everybody, including some civilians, as the heroes see that they're outmatched by these creatures, and the Nomu that were attacking them as well. The Nomu started ripping them apart, as some of the heroes started saying that they should retreat, and so they did. And that part of the city was destroyed. Ida was killed in the fight between Stain, but when Stain saw Izuku, Izuku offered him a choice, joining them or dying. Well, let's just say that because of Mr. Stain's ideals, Stain didn't survive. So, Izuku just tore him apart, using his, well, gigantic broadsword to just, let's just say, tear him a new one. So, after that, well, let's just say that Shigaraki was quite terrified of Izuku, but Izuku tells them that, well, he's just not interested in killing them. For now, at least. So, after he leaves, Shigaraki and, well, Konigiri were quite stunned on what they're gonna be doing next because they literally destroyed an entire city. And so they basically left to see the city burn into dust. So, the news say that the heroes were completely incompetent, and especially with those creatures. As one of the scientists that are in the hero side, well, tells one of the heroes that they found out how they're basically defeating them, as they show the hero committee and also the top 10 heroes that there is a special bullet that they shot at one of the heroes that destroyed their quirk. Everybody was shocked after hearing that, as one of them, being Miracle, just says this: "A quirk destroying bullet? That sounds insane." As one of them being Best Genius says this. I mean, that is not well. Wait for a second. I guess it's kind of impossible to think, but here we are now. As Hawk says this. Yeah, exactly. If there is a weapon like this, then as All Might says this, don't worry, we'll stop these villains no matter what. And whatever that person is making seems to be a formidable foe. As Endeavor says this, agreed All Might. And we need to try and stop him immediately. If we don't, Hero Society will be collapsed and destroyed. So, after that little fight, well, let's just say we go to wait for a second. We go to UA, where everybody is mourning the loss of a certain student. This student being, well, wait for a second. The student being, well, Ida. Ida was killed during the, internships, as everybody was crying. As Ezekiel basically writing on the wall, it was the hero killer that killed him. Like, literally doing it in, Ida's handwriting, because he wants to make it sure that, well, the hero killer would never, well, be looked upon again. And so everybody started hating on the hero killer, even though the hero killer, aka Stain, was killed by Ezekiel already. He just wants to, um, keep his tracks cleaned. Let's just say that. So, as everybody was like mourning the death of Mr. Mr. Rule Guy over there, aka Ida, let's go to a different perspective. This perspective was, well, this perspective is on Mr. or should I say Mrs. Well, um, Monoma, yeah. The girl's name is Monoma, so let's begin. So, we go to Monoma, basically trying to find Izuku, as she gets into a fight with some unsavory types of people. These types of people were basically trying to, get their way with, her. She thankfully fight them back by copying one of their quirks, but she saw something in the distance. A green-haired man. This man resembles Izuku as she starts running towards him. As when she wait for a second. So, when she did turn this guy around, it was, well, Izuku. Izuku with this strange symbol in his eye. As she says this, Izuku, it's me, Monoma, your old friend. What happened to you? As Izuku just says this. Sorry, miss, you must be talking to somebody else. I'm sorry, but I'm not your Izuku or whatever. As she says this, it's me, Monoma, your best friend. You don't... Is that girl literally controlling you? Is that bitch controlling you? As Izuku just says this. Bitch? What do you mean by that? As she says this. This girl, I already know what she is. She calls herself All for One. As he says this. All for One. Are you serious? As she says this. Yeah, I am as she sees that Izuku is just laughing again. As he says this. I'm sorry, but I'm not working for that, pompous dickhead. Besides, I'm working for somebody else, and my name is not Izuku. You can just call me Thomas. As he says, as she says this, I meant. But you're Izuku, right? As he says this. No, no, no. I rejected that name after that. You know why? It gives me horrible memories. Memories of that kid Bakugo. That bastard. Ruining my life just because he believes that he's better than God. Well then, I'm God's judgment then. I am God's messenger. And I shall be the one to destroy him, to punish him for his sins. Because after all, he did give me his power. As she says this, what power? As he looks at the dead cat. As he stabs it with his katana. As the katana glows a weird energy. As the cat gets revived, but with a brand new look. Almost cutish, I guess. It has glowing blue eyes and seems to have, well, bat-like wings. As she says this, being Momo, what the... As Izuku just says this, see? I breathed new life into this creature. You know why? Because God gave it to me. God gave me this power. Wait for a second, something happened. Sorry about that. God gave me I meant, God gave me this power. You know why? Because this world is corrupt, and I want to change it. That is why I decided to join her. As she says this, her? As she hears a voice behind her. Yes. As she looks behind her and sees a woman. This woman has dark black hair with blue and red piercing eyes. As she says this, my name is Aya Emi, and I'm your friend's, well, enforcer. I'm also I'm also his, well, boss. I'm a vampire, not a normal quirk user, if you're asking for that. As she says this, a vampire, as vampires appear behind her, as they look at her, getting ready to, bite her neck and drink her blood. As Izuku would say, do not kill her. As the vampires basically stop. As he says this to Monoma. Sorry about that. Wait for a second. Sorry about that. So, he basically says, I don't want you killing her. Besides, she's the only person that actually cares about me. Unlike those damn fools that dare call themselves powerful than God. Even those that believe that quirks are better than everything. That it that it only matters if you're a quirk user. That if you're a quirk user, you can do whatever the hell you want. It makes me sick. And that is why I decided to join her. Because she has a vision. This vision is to destroy Hero Society and rebuild it to what we want. To become a world of equality. Do you believe that, Monoma? A world of equality without any burden, without anybody being tortured, bullied, even ridiculed and killed just because they're quirkless or weak? Or would you rather become another casualty in this brand new brewing up? So, would you like to join us, Monoma, my old friend? As Izuku smiles. As this is going to be the end of the episode. Sorry because, well, this episode is going to be a bit interesting, and so this is going to be the end of the episode. But before you leave, I want all of you guys to pick names for these mobs for the next episode of What If Izuku or What If Deku was in Minecraft or was reincarnated into Minecraft. So, these names are for some girls, and these girls are a slime girl, a spider girl, and finally a cat slash, ocelot girl. Just make some names for them in the comments, and please just do it because I seriously need some ideas for the names. And so, I hope you liked the video. Comment and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.